Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Onyx Life.
Hi, guys. It's so great. I hope you guys like our new set. We have been working really hard on coming back with something fresh, something new.
Right.
And now we're just ready to get in there. How has your year been? That's what we want to know. So as you're watching this, or if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify or wherever, write us. Let us know how your quarantine year went. Because you know what? I think we should talk about ours today.
Yeah. I mean, we are constantly just doing so many things. And quarantine just gave us permission to just really dig deep because we weren't going anywhere.
I know. We were the type that basically said, you know what? We are going to just lock it down. That's what we said. We're going to lock it down and we're going to work from home because we can. And we're just going to wait this thing out to the best of our ability. Am I right?
Right. And it was super easy for us because, I mean, we homeschool our kids. Well, the older girls are not even in school anymore, but Shiloh, we homeschool him. So it's so easy. Everybody works from home. We have a family business. So it really was a simple process. Like I said, it just gave us permission to just dig deeper and get a lot of projects done.
Okay. Yeah. So if you had to choose, though, what was the thing that you hated the most during quarantine? And it's not like it's really over yet. We know that. But I feel with the numbers going down, I'm really hoping that we're at the tail end. So as we kind of start wrapping it up, what do you feel was your worst thing that you did?
Well, for me, I just being concerned for family and friends.
Yeah.
And just watching the news and seeing how many people were affected, that just broke my heart. That was just the worst part.
Right.
To see that other families have experienced so many deaths, sicknesses, debilitating sickness. It's so heartbreaking. And I just hated to open up the news and to see that it was tough.
Yeah. I think for me, I agree with that. And I think another tough part, I think, was also just trying to balance staying productive with the sleep schedule that's totally off.
Oh my goodness.
With the pressures of trying to stay healthy and be healthy and making sure that, everything is even running well in the house because, we're the type, like I said, we really locked it down. So I didn't want anything to happen. So for example, our fridge, we had a problem with our fridge.
Right.
We could not understand why we would all of a sudden we come and
there's a puddle.
We'd come to the kitchen and we'd see this big puddle of water and we're like, what?
Right.
What is going on? And so we were like, okay, maybe the tray under it is filled. We'd empty that tray and then we would still be getting puddles of water. And so we were like, okay, what is going on? So I looked online and then it said maybe your gasket, the thing that seals the doors, maybe that's loose. Mm-hmm. Maybe what was it? Something was clogged.
Yeah, the drain.
The drain was clogged or something. And it was stressing me out because I kept thinking, oh my goodness, we're going to have mold. We're going to have to call people in here. And this is at the height, guys. I don't want really anybody in the house at the height. I don't know who's carrying it asymptomatically. I don't know what's going on. So I was just like, okay, I just kept on looking. I was praying about it. I was really praying because I really did not want anyone to come in the house. Finally, though, we found the problem. It was the clog.
Right, but I think it could have been the gasket also. We
haven't changed the gasket, though.
I understand, but we have a Sub-Zero fridge, and when we first moved into the house, I noticed that it was really difficult to open that fridge.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And then now, it's not as hard to open the fridge.
You had to put all your strength
right
to open the fridge door. That's not normal.
Right.
I literally sometimes would have to do it with two hands.
It was a workout.
Why? This is just my fridge. So was that trying to tell me something? I don't need to be in it? I don't know.
So we cleared the clog though, and as soon as we cleared the clog, it didn't drain again. So I know that solved that problem. But I still think that our gasket, I think that at some given point in time we can change the gasket because I don't have to pull as hard anymore. So.
Right. But after months of wondering, why are we getting this big old puddle of water? It was finally solved. Right. Finally.
So those are some of the things that, we've gone through. I have to agree with you about the sleep thing. I am an easy sleeper. I could just boom, put my head down and fall asleep.
Yeah, that's been annoying, guys. It's been really super annoying because he's always been like that. And I have been the complete opposite. So all this, our whole relationship, our whole marriage, it's always been like, okay, well, going to sleep in like 2 seconds.
Boom.
And I'm just like staring at him as he sleeps.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on. I don't know if I probably just need to get out more, get more sunshine. But I don't know. I just can't fall asleep as quickly. I don't have a major problem with sleep, though. I still can fall asleep, but it's just, I see the difference. And
I think everybody's off. Everybody. We're not going outside as much. We're not going like to just places as much. And I mean, guys, I know that we're privileged to be able to just, work from home, but we always have, right? We've always worked from home, but we still would go out to do like our errands and things like that. But now it's kind of like, man, we're just here. And I don't know. It's just off, but I learned not to really stress about it. Just like if it's going to be off, it's off. Like, okay.
Okay. So the fun stuff about quarantine, like things that you just did not expect.
Man, guys, I really, really feel, and I know people are going to be like, what? But honestly, guys, I feel like there's a certain level of stress that I did not have because now I knew every day I was just waking up to just stay home. And now, yeah, I know we had work pressures and stuff. But guys, I feel like I have less gray hair. I feel like, I'm serious. Like at the way I was going with stress, I felt like everything was going to be white, like within a few years. And all of a sudden I felt like that slowed down. And I know it's like trading one stress for another because all the other years of my life, I've never had to worry about a pandemic, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, though, I would wake up and just know, okay, I'm going to be home. And I just wasn't stressing about certain things that I usually stress about. So I feel like for me, every day just kind of felt like, oh, well, I know that at least, and this is another thing. I know that none of my family was going out. And I think for those like me who have kids now who are in their early 20s, late teens, I was starting to feel that stress of like when they leave the house and they go, to wherever they were going, that it was just now starting to be that thing I would have to think about as a mom. So now I had a whole year, everybody's like at home, and it was just kind of a relief for me in that end.
Well, for me, I loved what our family did. So one of the things that we did prior to COVID and prior to the quarantine, we had already decided that we wanted to go plant-based. We just kind of wanted to just really go plant-based and just, we would eat eggs, we'd eat dairy, we'd eat ice cream. We'd eat cheese, especially cheese, like we love pizza. Every now and then I would eat, I'd go to the Caribbean restaurant, get me some jerk chicken or, just something that I really liked. Not like we started this transition for quite a while, but we weren't like really rigid about it. We just kind of like were loose about it. We were still eating fish and things like that. So in quarantine time, right before quarantine, we decided that for a whole year, we really wanted to do that. And then quarantine hit, and then we're like, okay, this is really good that we decided to do this because we think it's really important at this point in time to be taking care of our health and to make sure that our immune systems are as strong as possible. So during this quarantine, guys, I have lost a solid 15 pounds. Now, I could even say even as much as 20 because I've gone as high as roughly 255. And right now, I am 235. So I've lost approximately 20 pounds during COVID. And from my highest, which I think I hit my peak, like I've been as high as 325. So in collection altogether of all the weight I've lost, I have now lost a combination of 90 pounds. So I'm
not like jealous or anything because I'm not, okay? I'm not jealous, but just like how he can sleep and just like be out in 3 seconds, he makes one little change and it's like, oh, the pounds just melt. Now I get it. It's hormones. You don't even need to write and tell me blah, blah, blah. I know that. It's hormones and like estrogen, you keep on the weight more and all of that. But I'm not jealous. I'm not. But yeah, he's doing really well.
But you lost weight too.
I know I did, but I mean, it's not like that. It's like half of that, Right. And I'm proud and I'm happy. I'm very happy that. But like even this morning, I I weighed in, and it's like the few pounds that I lost last week, it's like it's already back up.
It's water.
But
water
it's annoying, and I just get aggravated because it's just like, why is it like this? So,
but that was amazing. Like, I felt like during this time, focusing on my health, making sure that our family was focusing on their health and to get results that we have, because it's not just weight. Like, there's other things in our lives that, have come together because we were really super focused on our weight.
But let's talk about that vegan food though. Okay, so guys, like, I know this isn't the vegan of like the 80s, guys. Like, first of all, when we were in California for our year, which we got to go through that in another podcast, but the vegan food was amazing. And the funny thing is, when we were in LA, I wasn't even being a vegan. I was eating like fish and I had eggs and cheese and all that other stuff. But we were also eating the vegan food, like vegan fast food, and going to restaurants and eating all these delicious meals.
I just love LA for that.
And let me tell you guys, that just opened up my eyes, because when we did make the decision to be vegan, I was like, sure, we can do this. Of course. I mean, look at what we have. But then we went back to the South where we live full time. And let's just say we're just now getting into the vegan scene in the South. So,
but there are online resources that make it.
Yeah.
Like,
so
really
I would
simple.
this is the wonderful thing. Like, I would order a lot from GTFO. It's vegan. I mean, that's our go-to right now.
What does it stand for? GTFO.
I can't remember. I know what I thought it stood for.
Like, thank God it's vegan or something.
No, GTFO. It was
GTFO.
Something else. Yeah. But actually, when I went on the website, it was for something else. Okay, let me just see. I gotta tell you guys, because I don't want you guys to be like,
right. But anyhow, we found this site. It's amazing.
Right.
We're able to get like everything. So if we wanted to like make jambalaya with shrimp, they had plant-based shrimp. They have plant-based eggs. They have plant-based sausages. They have plant-based everything. So, oh my goodness, delicious
I'm on there
stuff.
right now, and I'm looking to see like what it means. Okay, hold on.
Really delicious stuff. So,
yeah.
Anyhow, being the one that does most of the cooking, it makes it super simple for me. I don't have to come from scratch, even though I really like.
Oh wait, no, it does mean that. It does mean the GTFO that you think it means. So
really, give me everything but the F.
Get the out. It's vegan because what? Okay, so basically, people were, like when you eat that food and you're probably like, no, this can't be vegan, and they say, yeah, it's vegan. Well, get the blank out. It's vegan, like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's good, and guys, I will have that reaction to some of that food that I get. It's like GTFO. This is vegan. Like, wow. Guys, it's good.
It's good. No,
it's good.
It
from
really
the shrimp to the beef to the
pork.
Right now,
ribs,
I'm really into these wings, and it's seitan. Right. SEITAN. Right.
I like to say satan.
Satan. Maybe it is. As long as it's not Satan.
I'm not trying to ingest Satan.
Right. But yeah, those wings are good. And then we put some of our another company we started getting into was California Balsamic. And they have these like vinaigrettes with no oil or anything. And guys, like we put that garlic one on the buffalo wings. Like, well, it's Mirthel. Okay, it's not it's him.
California balsamic vinegar is just yeah.
It's amazing, guys. Like
that's another.
It's just opened up our world, and so another really great things that we've been able to do during quarantine is like we just shop online like a lot more.
Packages coming in galore. I feel so sorry for the Amazon people.
Right, because how we live, where we live in our house,
slightly on a hill.
It's like on a hill, so you have to take about 2 flights of stairs just to get up.
Oh my goodness!
Not too large flights, but
it's still a distance.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's 2 large flights, but yeah, just to get to a porch. But we also let like they can drive up to the driveway too, because like a lot of times if it's a lot, they just drive up the driveway and leave it by the garage.
By the garage, right?
Yeah, because it's a lot, and we understand. But yeah, guys, it's been a lot. But we're getting through this. We are really getting through this.
Really, and then on a work scene, more from a work standpoint. If you can see, we got our magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was the first edition. This was amazing.
Right.
We put this out. It's the December 2020, January 2021.
Right.
So we have 2 issues, and we'll put it up. We'll put the image up so that you guys can see it for those that are watching. And it was really fun. It's the Onyx Life magazine, and we have 2 issues now. We have our holiday edition, and we have our quarantine edition.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Where you can find out
what's
just
going
a
on
lot.
with us.
Oh, but then that kind of reminds me of an article that we have in there. We've also gotten really into games, especially Mirthel and I. We've learned Wingspan. We've learned I know we're late on this, but we learned Catan. And after watching, I know it's going to sound so cringy and cheesy, but whatever. The Queen's Gambit, Mirthel and I play chess daily now.
Daily.
We play chess
like we
daily. And the funny thing is, like, when you play Wingspan, like, you don't get upset because it's almost like you're playing with someone, but you're not necessarily, like, he cannot stop me from succeeding in Wingspan.
Right.
But when it comes to something like chess, you know, those feelings start to come about where it's like, oh, why did I do that?
Right.
Or, you know, and so
it's a little bit
more competitive. And we are very competitive. I don't know if you guys, we have a lot of podcasts that aren't necessarily on YouTube, but they were, you know, our first go around with our first couple of seasons.
Right.
And we've talked about it. We are extremely competitive. And from I would say the first year we met, there was a Monopoly board thrown. And there was, you know, an argument.
And we didn't learn the lesson. Yeah. We advanced to a game called Triopoly, which is like a 3-level. And it really took the competition
to another level. To another level.
It was like literally.
Our kids, I'm ashamed to say this, our kids would just be like, please, you're not playing Triopoly. Come on. And I would be like, guys, don't worry. Everything is fine. We're not going to argue. We're just playing. We're just going to play a game, okay? I'm the parent here. And then within probably an hour, it was just like, no, I didn't do that. And it was a lot. It was a mess.
Yeah, but we had a lot of fun, lots and lots of fun playing games. So those are just some of the things. So you're gonna see some of those things inside of our podcast. Not only
our magazine.
In our magazine. Not only what we have been doing on a personal level, but also what we've been doing on a business level. And the magazine is one of those things. But,
right.
Some surprises. Like, what are some big surprises that you wouldn't even have imagined? For me, one of the surprises that I would not have imagined is that we would be doing a collaboration with Dr. Fauci. That was like, whoa.
That was really just like, wow, you know?
So we were really into making sure that people were aware about COVID, because there was a time period where people weren't quite aware about all the things and the issues around it. So we did a lot of videos like washing your hands,
right,
and like rap videos about it and just fun things about that. And Dr. Fauci got word of our channel and the things that we were doing, and his team contacted us and wanted to do a collaboration.
Right,
and it was really, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he is. He's very nice. But, you know, it's one of those things where you put yourself out there to see if you can add to the positive conversation. Right. And, you know, we did it. And we were really, really happy with the product because it was fun. It was lighthearted. We got a lot of great feedback.
Right.
And then,
don't we even have like an award for that video, that collaboration?
No, we've been nominated.
We've been nominated. What is that?
Synopsis
Awards or something like that.
We won't know until I think 25th.
Oh, really? This month?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
in a few days, actually. So we'll see. Wow. We'll let you know.
We could be winners.
Right.
But we were nominated, and it was really fun. It was a fun project. Doing it with Dr. Fauci. Any other surprises that like, whoa?
Oh, definitely the inauguration.
Ooh, that's right. Inauguration.
So yeah,
that was really cool.
Right. So we were contacted by the campaign team to do a little segment for the young Americans. I guess like for like, you know, people who were young watching the whole inauguration, and it was fun. It was really fun.
The program was aligned in the same way. So it's sort of like there was the channel that it was on was basically running the full inauguration program. But there would be snippets where they would interject other artists and other creators that would be able to
just an inauguration program.
Yeah,
so
it's an inauguration program, right?
It was good.
And it was really cool. It was fun to be a part of it. Kiki Palmer was the host.
Yeah.
So she did a great job. I felt like she did. She brought really good energy.
Our girls were so excited.
Because they used to watch her.
Yeah.
Right.
They
remember
really
her
nice.
when she was, VP
right,
Jackson.
Right. True Jackson
or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So it was an honor. It was an honor to be asked. How did you feel like the first African American, South Asian first female period, vice president? How did that make you feel being a part of that?
I think it was amazing. I think that when Obama was elected, the chills and the feeling that I had was just it was just so electrifying. And now we get to experience it all over again, with Kamala, and it's just an amazing feeling to have actually been a part of this. And I think it's so important for our kids to see this and just to continue to break these barriers. I think it'll be wonderful because that's who we are here in America. We are diverse.
Right.
And even just you guys watching us, this was not an option just even 50 years ago, 70 years ago, to have just us being able to talk to you, be on here, and you have the choice. There's nobody blocking it. Like, it's just amazing. So to see the strides, all of it was great. So we just felt like it was an honor, a big honor to do that. And guys, all of this stuff again is like during quarantine from home. Right. And it's like this. I will tell you guys this. I'm gonna be honest. Probably leaving 2019, there were a bunch of changes coming to YouTube. There was, and then we started to hear about the whole COVID and everything around
early January,
like
late
November.
December.
No.
Oh.
I was hearing about it from November.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And I was following it.
She's always doing research.
And I was following it, and I knew, okay, this is getting serious. But I think I will say this.
But it was centered in
China.
So we saw the potentials in November, but I don't think we were overly concerned at that point in time.
No,
in November.
by around December, I started to know that okay, we need to start getting prepared.
Right.
And so, yeah, we did a lot to get prepared for this. I started telling all my family and friends, like, guys, this thing is coming and it's serious. And so anyways, that's like another podcast, but I will tell you this, that when all of that stuff was happening, I just thought this year was a wash. I just thought 2020 would be a big wash for our family. And for many who have gone through a lot and they've suffered, 2020, I wouldn't say is a wash for them, but it was very impactful and tragic on another level. For us, we have had family members, not our immediate family, but we have had extended family members who have had it. And one of them has had complications. So we've been touched. We have been touched. Right. And they're still going through it. And they're still going through some permanent complications.
Right.
So, and then we've had friends who've had it. We've had friends whose family have had severe. Right. So we've all been touched in a tragic way. But I will say that the year was not a wash, though. We've learned so much.
We learned a lot.
We learned a lot about ourselves, about our family. We've learned how to still be productive and be creative, even when circumstances are not ideal.
Right.
We've learned how to, guys, we have not really eaten out at all in over a year.
Right.
So we've learned to really just rely on, our food
and taking care of our bodies.
Exactly. And getting more serious. Yeah. Because, he lost about 90. I lost about 40 something pounds. And
not
so we're on our way.
During COVID though, like 90 over a period, but during the COVID time, it was about 20 so far.
Oh,
so.
Oh, okay. That's true. That's true.
Because it was over a period of time that it was the 90,
guys,
but
we should really show you guys. We should really show you guys a picture of Mirtha at his biggest.
Yes,
you wouldn't even believe it.
Up there.
You wouldn't even believe it.
Right.
You would not. But yeah, so it's been good. You know.
Another surprise is that it was kind of 2019 that we found this out.
What?
But it was nice to know. So it was a little bit more special for us being at the inauguration. A little bit more special than just Kamala inviting us, or Kamala and the Biden team inviting us to be a part. it was a little bit more special for us because I found out in 2019 from my mother that we're actually related to Kamala through her Jamaican roots. So no, we know that she is South Asian through her mother, but through her father's Jamaican. And so, especially in her younger years, her and her sister used to visit Jamaica, connect with her grandmother, which is her father's mother, and her great-grandmother. Actually, her great-grandmother actually raised her father, so he was a little bit even more close to his grandmother. So what we found out as she was running, her father had written a book. And so when she was running and when they found out that she was the she potentially could either be the president or the vice president, it became like the photos started to go viral. And we saw the photos and the names. And my mom was like, I know these people because my mom is Jamaican. She was born and raised in Jamaica, her and my dad. And my mom was like, I know these people. I'm related to them. And I was like, no way. And sure enough, you know, all the people that was in the pictures and the names, she was able to identify them, tell me about, you know, stories.
So now where's the
them.
connection?
Okay, so her...
Make it real simple.
Okay.
Because I've heard this explanation probably 30 times. And I'm just like, make it simple. You know that meme with Michael Scott from The Office? Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Okay. So my grandfather and Kamala's grandmother are first cousins.
Wow, guys, folks,
Boom.
That is the simplest way I've ever heard it. Wow.
So my grandfather and Kamala's grandmother are first cousins, and they used to visit each other all the time. My mom used to go over to her name is Beryl, which is Kamala's.
Who's Beryl?
Beryl is Kamala's grandmother,
Okay.
which is her father's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother and her dad would visit his cousin all the time. They would go. There is a town where they lived in, and they were born and raised, called a Booker. And her grandmother lived in a town called Inverness, and it was like 2 miles away. So
Right.
you literally would just walk,
Right.
you know, to each other's homes. And so when they would go to the doctor, or they'd go into town for whatever, they would always stop at her house and they would just chat it up. And you know how you are with your cousins, you know. So that's how it was. It was really cool like that. And so she knew them. And her mother is Ivy Finnegan. That is.
See, you already, guys, it's getting.
No.
This
This is Kamala's grandmother, Beryl. Beryl's mother is Ivy Finnegan. Now we're Finnegans. My mother is a Finnegan. That's her maiden name. So I'm related to Kamala. We're in the White House, y'all.
We in the White House, y'all. I hope we get, like, as soon as this whole thing is over, I hope we actually go in the White House.
But I've never met Kamala. My mom has never met Kamala and Kamala.
See, that's been a big issue with Marthel and I too. Can you please pronounce her name right? Like, she's your cousin. Can you please pronounce her name right? Because, you know, that's like, I don't understand, like, when, like, for me, I think Rita is very... I don't know. I think it's simple to pronounce, but you would be surprised. People mispronounce my name. But I feel like we have learned all these complicated names in history. Like, why can't we all pronounce just Kamala? Why can't we say that? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, anyway.
Right.
But
it's just
funny.
language and intonation.
Right.
Like, for instance, my name.
And respect.
A lot of people do not know how to pronounce my name, so they'll say Myrtle.
Myrtle. We've heard Myrtle.
Myrtle.
Marthel.
Remember
the other one? Marthio.
Yeah, that was where was she from? I think she was from, like,
I don't remember.
She was like Thailand or something.
Yeah, she said Mathio.
So people call me also Myrtle.
I've had Rita. Your mom calls me that. Rita. Like Brita, like the Brita water filter.
Rita.
That's how you say my name, Rita.
Yeah, but some people don't want to say D, like Rita, so they want to say Rita.
So that's that's my mother.
Your mother,
my mother, and my grandmother.
It's like it's
Rita. Rita. That's your name, Rita.
Right.
Yeah.
While everybody else is just like making it a D. Rita.
Right. And then I've people have spelled my name. I've seen people spell my name Reada. Reduh. That one's just offensive. Reduh.
But
no, I don't like that.
But they're doing it based on phonetically how it sounds. So, but it's RITA.
Yeah.
So yeah. So people butcher people's names all the time. So hey,
I'm sure Kamala, and watch me not even be doing it right. I'm sorry if I am not doing it right. But she's probably used to it.
Anyhow, so we have had quite a year, guys, and we're just happy to share it with you. And there's so much more that we have in our magazine.
Oh, yeah. I just want to tell you guys, if you guys want to see the picture of Murthel and his family, it's actually in our latest issue of our magazine. You can go to the Onyx. You actually just go to onyxspot.com, and that's where our shop is. Guys, there's so many things that we have in the pipeline for you that it's really exciting. Like right now, if you go to Onyx Spot, you'll be able to see the magazines. You can order a digital or a physical copy.
Right.
Because of the COVID and everything, the physical copies, it's taking a bit, maybe...
No, it's just like a week.
Maybe a week or, week and a half.
Just based on weather and also depending on the weather places.
Yeah, depending on that. But, you guys will see pictures of Murthel and his family, because we have a whole segment on Black history. You'll even see
Rita's family.
Yeah, you'll even see stuff about my grandfather, because my grandfather played professional baseball for
the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah, 50s and the 60s for the Houston Astros and Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right.
And then after that, he went on to Japan to play professional baseball over in Japan in the 70s. But we have some stories about him and Mahalia Jackson and Malcolm X.
Right.
So yeah, get the issue. It's really, really fun and interesting. I really, really love our magazine. I think it's a great tool. And sometimes you just want to unplug. After you watch our podcast, if you want to unplug, and all of our other channels. No, I'm just kidding. No, but sometimes you just want to break. And you just want to be like, okay, this is old school. Magazines are old school. I remember I used to get stacks of magazines growing up, just 17 YM. Only the OGs know YM, right?
Yep.
Teen. I didn't really like Teen that much though. And what else did I get? I can't remember. But guys, all those magazines, I rarely ever saw anyone that looked like me. Rarely anyone that, and I rarely saw any families that
we had to get our type of magazines.
But as a teenage girl, you want the girly stuff. So yes, I could have gotten Ebony and Jet, but that was a little bit older. So
what about all the ones that we used to get where we'd pull out the centerfold and the pictures? I can't remember what they were called. I used to get them all the time. I can't believe I forgot that.
See, I don't do centerfolds.
But those fun ones that were, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that I've forgotten those magazines. But they used to be,
I'm
waiting.
Gone.
It's gone. It's left me. But it was hip hop magazines. Those they were fun.
But that's 90s, for
early 90s,
that was still for you. But 80s. I'm talking girls. As a teenage girl, and even preteen, you wanted stuff.
My sister used to pull those out and have Blair Underwood. Remember when he was in LA Law and all the kind of stuff? And
yeah, I get it, but still, there were certain things in certain girly magazines.
It was called Up something. I can't remember.
Uptown
or Word Up or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, but that's a hip hop magazine. I'm talking about.
It wasn't. It was more like a pop, but it had it had salt and pepper in it. It had all these people.
Okay, but I'm talking
you
about
have been too young for that. Maybe you were.
I'm talking about just major, just regular magazines on the newsstand that were catered for young women. I'm just saying for young women, it was not reflective of who we were. And I was even looking online in researching to try to do our magazine. I went back to just look at old issues of certain types of magazines. And again, you rarely saw anyone that looked like us. Anything. Now, yeah, you would have to get a hip hop magazine.
Right. I think it was called Word Up or, something like that. I can't remember exactly what the names were. But there was two in particular. And I remember it was late 80s and early 90s. And I remember we used to take out the centerfold, put it on the wall. It would have Salt and Pepper, Maestro Fresh West, all the Kid and Play, all the pop artists and the rap artists of those days.
See, I don't know because I don't know
MC
if I
Light.
just didn't if I didn't know that was there. Maybe because you were on the East Coast, maybe it was a little bit easier to get.
East Coast
I don't know because born and raised in LA, I had certain things, but I don't recall if I was. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't know.
Right.
You know,
you were a bit younger than me, so you may not have had access to that particular.
Maybe not at that time.
I am going to research it and I am going to put the magazine up on our podcast when we do the edits. I'm going to put the magazine up so that you guys will be able to see what I'm talking about. But I remember that. And we also have a lot of pictures. That's why we made sure we put a lot of pictures, because sometimes people just want to have certain pictures. So we did photo shoots. Shout out to Gianna Snell, photography.
Yes, our photographer. She's
amazing. And she captured some really great shots. And we want to share those shots with you. So if you guys want to have like pictures, like professional pictures of the Onyx family, and of the Onyx kids, you'll have access to that in our magazine. So there's really a lot of fun things that we try to put in there to make sure that you guys know what we were doing, what we're up to, what we're thinking, you know, and all that kind of stuff.
And for it's for the whole family. So there's stuff that's for moms and dads. There's stuff that's for women, men, and then there's stuff that's for teens. And then there's stuff for kids. So it's like a family magazine. It's really nice.
It's multi-generational.
Yeah, it's a really nice project that we're doing, and we hope you guys really enjoy it. So let's just get into our main topic.
Right. So that's amazing how you survived me. Not COVID, me. How did you survive me in COVID?
I know, because guys, like, listen, I think a lot of people, like, you guys heard the statistics that a lot of people have gotten divorced. Just, I guess, maybe being around their spouse too much during quarantine.
Right.
But yeah, I think for us, I think let's just talk right now about, like, how did the quarantine, like being together 24/7, affect our marriage?
Well, I know that throughout the years, we've had moments in our marriage where we have argued a lot. And I think in the beginning more than later, and then later again for different reasons. But there was reasons for that. Like in the beginning, we were getting to know each other.
Right, because we didn't know each other that well when we got married.
Right, because we literally got married the same year we met.
Yeah.
And then there was another phase of our marriage where we went through a lot of struggles. And during that, and we call it the struggle life. That's why that's in our podcast, we'll say from the struggle life to the
Onyx life.
And so during that period of our life, those arguments were really about how we were managing stress load, finances, all that kind of stuff. And then there was another phase in our life where the arguments were more about transitions and coping with transitions. So, you know, the arguments have been up and down and really great times. I would have thought that we would have argued more, or this would be another phase of arguments during quarantine, and it really wasn't. We have, I'm sure maturity has set in, and you know, all that stuff. But we didn't argue really during quarantine at all.
We didn't. And I mean, I think what's really helped is working on our communication prior.
Right.
It was almost like we were being prepared for this without knowing we were. Because it was really crazy to think that we have argued way less this year than at probably any other point.
Right.
Because our stress levels were just different. Like I said before, like we're trading stress for a stress. Like instead of maybe the work stress, now it's like, oh, is everybody healthy kind of stress. But yeah, it's one of the things that I've found is to not make things like a big deal. Just relax. I think I wish I had told myself, if I could tell myself 20 years ago when we first got married, actually we've been married 23 years now this year. If I could have just told myself to just relax, stop making everything a big deal, maybe, man, that could have cut down on some of our arguments. That's for sure. But like right now, I think during quarantine, you kind of just let the other person just be, you don't. And there's not a lot of external stress. I think that we kind of underestimate the external stresses of people's expectations.
Right.
How that actually impacts a relationship.
Right.
Because right now there's not a lot because we can't do anything. We can't go anywhere. We can't, so we do have work commitments, but it's still in a much more controlled environment and everybody's adjusting.
Right.
And I think when you are doing other things or going other places, I just think that there's this external stress that I don't think we're really think of.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll keep it real with y'all about, what's going on with our relationship or what's going on in our lives. But I'm just being real right now, and I'm keeping it real with this. Like, I really enjoyed you during quarantine. I really enjoyed spending time.
That's sweet.
I would I'd love to go out, go get some good food, or just go for a drive. And I have not really done that. Like I spent most of our time, we've spent, like we said, playing games,
right?
Getting to know each other better, like just more working together on projects. And I really have enjoyed my time with my family as well. Just
right.
I think that we are just working on another level, and the intimacy is another level as well.
But I feel like, I think that this is just important to mention. We are really privileged to have a house where if you want your own corner for the day,
right, that's
you
true.
Can. Like, how would it be in some of the other houses we lived in?
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Like when we lived in the apartment, and that was not too long ago.
Was that in the condo in Toronto?
The condo.
Yeah.
Like 2014.
Mm-hmm.
We were just...
our
space
we lived...
is probably smaller than our bedroom. Definitely smaller than our bedroom.
Yeah, we lived for about a year. We lived for about a year in Toronto.
Right.
Pretty, like several years ago. And it was a condo. It had 3 bedrooms.
The girls shared 1 bedroom.
2 bathrooms. We had our own, and then there was one in the hallway. Had our own washer and dryer, which was like, at that point in time, that was everything for me.
Yeah,
like,
it was like a closet.
I have my own washer and dryer.
Right.
But, yeah, I think that honestly, if we had been in there, this conversation might be sounding a lot different, because we would have been just everybody all together all the time,
on top of each other.
So right. I just have to mention that because I know that people who have seen our videos, you guys have seen our house, and so it's like, well, yeah,
you know what's
you
funny,
guys have
though?
all this space,
but
we
really
don't take all that space though. We always around each other.
No, if you stop and think about it, we did not argue a lot in the apartment either.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
We really didn't.
Right. So I can't really say
but
that.
we weren't stuck at home all the time.
We weren't stuck at home,
it was
right.
different.
You were going to work.
We didn't argue a lot in the condo, I think, because things were really relaxed at that point. We were very close to all of our workplaces.
Right.
And
we had simplified our life.
We had really simplified our life. That's the word, guys. That's like a light bulb moment. This is why I feel that we did so well during this quarantine. I feel like our life was just simplified.
Right.
We were not overcommitting to anything. We weren't, vacations, as much as I love vacations, those could be stressful. Like planning.
Especially for you,
because I don't really like to fly.
Right.
But but just like just a bunch of things, the commitments to go certain places, to do certain things, being in traffic. Guys, we were like, prior to coming back out here, we were, like I said, we were in LA for a while, and the traffic. Like, right. It's just
when we were in
constant.
Toronto, the traffic was
traffic
crazy.
in Toronto. Right.
And at that point in time, we eliminated the traveling in traffic on the highway in Toronto, and you were what, like 5 minutes away from your workplace?
Right.
I was about
so close.
10 minutes away from my workplace, so it really, we did simplify.
But we've lived in Florida since then. We've lived in Florida. There were some major arguments in Florida, but our life was not simplified. At that time, this is right before YouTube now, I had about 5 jobs as a nurse practitioner. And some of them were online. Some of them were just like different locations, like a hospital, a nursing home, in the home, doing telemedicine. I was about to start teaching. It was just crazy. And I was done. I was so done. So that was not a simplified life. That was just not.
Right. But and then I would say that we had a simplified life. Our life was simplified. I would say we stayed productive. Staying productive. We were working together and we were staying productive. So here is this threat, COVID, and we're concerned about it. We don't want our families to be impacted by it. But we weren't super focused on it because we had all these projects that we were doing. Mm-hmm. That we were working together. Yeah,
one thing about our family is that, I say our family, but it's like a lot of this comes from me going, okay, guys, what are we doing? Oh, okay, I think we could do this too. Okay, I think we can do this too. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I have to kind of pull myself back because we can't be all things to all people, right? We got to simplify. And whenever we do actually simplify things run smoother. We just find that we are just, I don't know, we're just feeling more positive about things, and then it translates into a better environment.
Right.
So yeah.
So those were, I guess, some of the ways that I found why we enjoyed ourselves so much in our time. You know?
Yeah, I think also, I don't know, like for me too, again, not making big deals. Like if I didn't go to bed by a certain time, I wasn't stressed. I didn't have to make sure I get up at this time. Really trying to be very sensitive to the stresses that, let's say like Shiloh, he's like 14. How is it to be a 14-year-old during a pandemic? Mm-hmm. So I was really trying to make sure that I was relaxed around homeschool. You know, making sure that he's doing a lot, but also recognizing when I need to give him a break, you know, because we homeschooled, we already had our own program. So I know there's a lot of you guys that were just all of a sudden homeschooling, and I can't even imagine that kind of stress.
Right.
Because it took years for me to get to where I am with homeschooling, where I know that other people, you guys are just starting. So it's just like, what do I do? So I got a lot of calls. Like, Rita, what do I do? Where should I go? Like, what was the first step? Mm-hmm. And I always like, one of the first things I always tell people is just start slow and just be relaxed. Just don't worry about it.
It's going to work out.
It's going to work.
Right.
Don't think you have to be on that same rigid schedule like you have in regular traditional school.
I promise you this, that if your child does not learn what 2 + 2 is today, they will learn it tomorrow. I just promise you that.
Yeah.
They will learn it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if they don't learn it tomorrow, they will learn it the following week. Because I remember at one time, that was a challenge for one of our children. Like, I was like, well,
2 + 2?
Child, not 2 + 2, but this child is learning their times table or the multiplication.
Right.
And this child is like taking long, or this child just picked up the phonics and the reading, but this child is not picking it up so quickly. And it was just like constantly concerned. And if there was one thing that I would just like to lend to parents, is just that relaxation, that
right.
Even if your child has learning disabilities, or even if your child has certain challenges or whatever they are, learning challenges, each of them learn in a different way, I promise you it will come to them.
It works out.
These basic things, there are some basic things that you want your children to have. And then there is the specialty of who they are, how they're going to contribute to the world. And you kind of need both. You kind of need like basic knowledge, like reading, learning how to read, or learning, basic arithmetic just to be able to count money and not get cheated. But these basics are going to come. It will, some a little bit later, but it will come. If not today, tomorrow, like I said, if not tomorrow, next week. And then you can really spend time really honing in and really helping to guide your child in the special things about them. Because the special things about them is the real education, is that real growing that is going to make them special in the world. That's how they're going to be a star. That's what they're going to contribute to the world. What is that special giftedness that was placed inside of them? Yeah. And so, don't worry. Don't sweat the basic stuff.
That's how we approach not just homeschooling. We also approach work like that. So a lot of people say, Rita, how do you have all these brands under Onyx Family? Because we have Playonics for Shiloh. We have Cardionics for Shasha. Sinead has Shonix. And, Shalom is more in charge of the kid brand, our Onyx Kids brand. We have our Onyx Life podcast, and we just do a lot. But again, we have 6 people in the family. And right now we're like a family unit, but eventually each one of our children will have their own family units. And what we are doing is trying to equip them, not just with school, but with work, to hone in on their giftedness, their talents. That was placed there, we believe, by God to accomplish their mission. And so by focusing on their talents and their gifting for their work, then it's not even like work anymore. It's like their purpose. It's their mission, and they enjoy what they do. And that is why, we will have all these different brands, but it's not everybody involved with each different brand. Like Shasha does her Cardionics. Like that's hers. Mm-hmm. And she's really into fitness. She's been into fitness from, I want to say 9, 10, constantly stretching. She was in gymnastics for a bit. And even when nobody was looking, even when the cameras were not there, because we weren't even in YouTube at that point, she would be working out hard in her room. She had 6-pack. 6-pack before 12.
Right.
So, so that's the thing. We have Shalom has been like this kid at heart. She has this love for just
Cartoons
creating she's always been involved. She's always drawn.
That she would be drawing.
Right.
And it's just, serendipitous
that she's our illustrator for Onyx Kids books. Right. And she's the one that wrote most of the scripts for Onyx Kids and even Onyx Family. And so she has this way that she thinks that is very, very much in tune with what a kid would like. It's off the wall. It's funny. It's just really, really cool.
She's helped to write Onyx Monster Mysteries, which is our cartoon. And if we have not mentioned, it has dropped on Amazon Prime and Amazon Kids.
That's right.
Amazon has bought it for 2 seasons, and it's amazing. And she was able to write some of those. And in the second season, she's also sitting on the writers' team, and she's contributing in that way.
And then even with, with Sinead has always been into music. Always been into wanting to be a performer, singer, writer for music. And she's done all the music for Onyx Monster Mysteries, which is a huge deal for both seasons. And she's also done her own songs. And just that, she's also writing, well, I don't even know if I can announce, but she's also writing another theme song for another thing we have coming out. So that's going to be amazing. But she just has she has this gift. You give her a topic, you say, can you write a little, like a song or a rap or whatever? She will do it like that. She's a lyricist. And I just think that is a gift. If someone give that to me, I'd be like, oh, where do I even start? Not her. It's just something she's naturally gifted with. So what we do is we try to find the things that would line up with their gifting, with our current, with what we were doing. Like even Shiloh he's been talking about coding for years. So he's doing coding. He's learning about, so many things online, but he's very much into gaming. And it's like, well, aren't most kids into gaming? Yeah, a lot of kids are into gaming, but he also wants to learn the coding behind it.
Right.
He also wants to learn Japanese. Why? Not just because, he's into anime, like a lot of people are, like our kids are really into anime, but also he wants to be able to collaborate and work with people in the industry in Japan, especially who create a lot of these video games. And so he wants to make sure that he's prepared and that he can speak to them. So that's what I mean. That's a whole nother level of just, I like gaming. This is like someone who wants to take it seriously. He collects old consoles. Like he's really into this whole thing. So our goal as a parent has always been, how do we help create the opportunity, the platform, and so that they can now showcase these talents and use these talents for their mission.
Absolutely. So that's just another way of considering education.
Right.
We see ourselves as guides, and we see our kids knowing best who they are and what their interests are. And we kind of guide them through life. Mm-hmm. And as they teach us, this is what I like. This is what I'm passionate about.
Right.
This is what I'm good at.
Yeah. I think it's old school to be like, okay, you're going to go to college and just be a doctor, just be a lawyer.
You're going to do that.
Like, you're going to do this, you're going to do that.
And I'm going to take all the money and all the resources, and I'm going to make sure that you're able to do this. And for us, we were reading a book, Matthew McConaughey's
Green
book,
Lights.
Green Lights. And he had this really great concept, which I feel embodies our approach of how we approach education.
Right.
And so he said, this is what he said. He said that basically we are either targets or we are, I can't remember exactly how he said it, but it was basically the idea, the concept was arrows and targets. So you take an arrow and you point it to a target, and then you shoot it and you try to hit bullseye. And a lot of people, what they will do is they will try to have these goals and visions for their children.
Right.
And their children become arrows that they point towards whatever the target is. And they'll be like, okay, shot.
Right.
There you go. Go, Shiloh. Go, Sinead. Go. Mm-hmm. And hit that target. But what happens is it has that concept of like the one-shot mentality, like, you got one shot at this.
Right.
You know, you got one shot at that target, so you better like prepare and make sure you shoot it right. And then that's one way of teaching, one way of education. It's very stressful.
It is.
Very anxiety producing, because if you miss that target,
that's
it. Like, you missed your opportunity.
Right.
But then he gave this other concept, and I feel like that embodies what we did, where we allow our children to be like magnets.
Exactly.
Like, we're drawing the opportunities rather than you being shooting your kid toward the target.
Right.
Your kid becomes the bullseye, a magnet. Like, it's a
magnet, yes,
where it's drawing the opportunities to them.
Right.
And if you focus on building up your children so that they are the platform and that they are that object that everyone is looking at, that everyone is like, ooh, what do they have to offer? And you create that platform for them, then they will draw the opportunities to them. They don't have one shot. They have plenty of shots, because instead of them going out for the opportunity, opportunities are coming to them.
Exactly. And a lot of times we didn't know per se we were doing that to its fullest extent.
Right.
Like, we are seeing the fruition now. Like, we felt strongly that they need to be doing something within their gifting, but nobody could have told me that the opportunities would be drawn to them like the way they are.
Absolutely.
See, what I was under my original thinking, I thought was, oh, we will have them work inside their talenting and their gifting, and they will create their opportunity. I used to have this saying, like, don't wait for an opportunity, create it. But that's only half the equation, because there are so many opportunities that are now just coming to our family, to our children, to us. And I did not anticipate that. And so that's why it's so important, because when you are doing these things, when you are actually working your talents and your gifts and your gifting, people notice and they say, wow, hey, I want to work with you to do this. I want to do this with you. And they recognize it. And if you are on a trajectory where all you're doing is what you think other people want you to do, or you think it's just about the money or whatever it is, and it's not something that's within your talents and your gifts, you could be very frustrated in life, because you will be wanting certain opportunities, but they're not coming because you're not even putting yourself out there for it. Right. And the thing about working your talents and your gifts, a lot of people might be afraid to do that because they feel like, what if that opportunity doesn't come? They feel like it could be a waste of time. They don't trust it. They don't have faith in it. They feel like, I've got to do the safe thing. I've done that. I've lived the safe life for years. And I mean years, and I was miserable. See, a lot, like we talked about arguing earlier, a lot of our arguments actually stemmed from my unhappiness with what I was doing with my career. Right. I was very unhappy. And you would think, well, I have this healthy, beautiful family. I have a wonderful husband. Like, what's your problem? My problem was that the purpose that I was living, I knew I was not living my purpose. I knew that I was doing something so that my family would have money, or doing something because I started it, I might as well finish. Right. Like, there's value in following through, but there's also value in saying, guys, this is not for me.
And I was living my purpose. I felt like at the time that was my purpose for that moment. I was a pastor, and I was very passionate about marriage and family. So I was a marriage and family therapist. And so I felt like I was living my purpose, but it just wasn't good enough. And we could not have happiness unless you were living your purpose. Do you know what I mean? That one of us could not. You were not made
to
sustain my purpose in life.
It was hard.
You know, we were brought together so that we would share. We would have shared purpose, and we both were living our purpose. And I feel like that's what's happening right now. And so through challenges and through trials, I felt like when I walked away from ministry in order to help opportunity that came to you, that was a very challenging time for me when I lost my focus of my purpose.
Yes.
And so purpose is...
That's when the argument started again.
This
time it wasn't from me. Yeah,
it wasn't from me. No, that was from me. I was angry. I was resentful. I had all these emotions that I just didn't know how to handle. And it's not because I didn't have a wonderful wife, and it's not I didn't have wonderful kids, but I lost my purpose. And it was really difficult for me. But one of the things that I have noticed in this conversation is that, isn't that amazing that no matter what the environment is around you, it doesn't determine what will happen to you? Because here we had all these challenges. Right. We've had COVID-19. Right. And this has been one of our most productive years. It's been one of our most peaceful years. We said we argued less. You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
It's been one of the most refreshing, rejuvenating years where we were able to get our health together. So in a time where most people were concerned about our health, including us, our health has actually gotten better.
Right.
At a time where, you know, the same thing, we talked about our children. Our children, you know, where we're concerned about some challenges that we see in their learning patterns or certain things, we saw that through those challenges, it turned out that it was the energy was drawn towards them. And so the focus was now opportunities were drawn to them. And they did not have to, we didn't have to be overly concerned that they have one shot.
Yes.
And it's amazing when you just change your perspective on life. Just shift your perspective.
Right.
Not even the environment around you can really stop you. How do you move and shift away from being anxiety filled over the targets that you want to hit in your life to now drawing those targets towards you like a magnet and opportunities coming to you? And you know, and that can happen in the harshest of circumstances,
right?
Like COVID,
totally unexpected,
like
and
learning
even
disabilities,
and even
like,
right before YouTube, guys, I was so stressed out. I was so tired. I was done, and I told Marthel. I mean, my back was going out. It was just like I have an old back injury from nursing, and it was like when I get stressed, it wants to flare up again. So between back pain, mental stress, we were still stressed about like, what is our purpose? Because, you know, he wasn't working, I was working, and it was just
You're talking about 2015.
Yes, before YouTube, right before YouTube. And in that kind of conflict, when I said, hey, I see all these people working as a YouTuber, why don't we just try it? Let's just see if our family could make some fun memories. If we make money, we make money. If we don't, that's fine. At least we'll have family memories, because I was spending so much time consumed with work that I felt guilty because I wasn't there for my family like I wanted.
We'd lay in bed dreaming about working as a family.
Yeah.
And creating a
we
family
really
business.
wanted to just work as a family. We'd been talking about that for years. And in the midst of crisis, marital crisis, financial, we had great money
health
at that
problems.
point, but it was coming at a cost. Like, yeah, I was making great money, because if you work that many jobs and you, it's just,
and you're a professional. You were, you owned a medical company, but you also were contracting.
So
as a
we
nurse
were able to start going on great vacations, but there was this underlying tension.
Right, because we didn't have access to you.
Right. Exactly. So basically, yes, in the midst of conflict, I would never have thought that right after that, the opportunity that we had to now work as a family and redefine who we are and what we do and our purpose was right around that corner.
Right. Absolutely. And so that's just the amazing thing about what even challenges from the struggle life to the Onyx life. How even struggles in our lives does not determine whether or not or where we go. Mm-hmm. It doesn't determine our future. It doesn't determine our fate. All it means is that is going to be the stepping stone, not a stumbling block, but the stepping stone towards where you need to be. And so that's what quarantine was for me. Quarantine was not an easy thing. I'm not trying to say it was easy.
No.
But I will say that it was productive. It was healing.
We made the best we could out of it. We, like in our magazine, we say how we thrived, not just survived. Right. You know, that's our thing. Like, we got really into supplements, and like there's just so many things we learned. We learned just like basically not letting the stress of life completely decimate us and bring us down, to learn that there are so many things that are not within our control. And so what are you going to do? Are you going to give up? Are you going to just try to wait this out and say, I'll be productive when this thing is over? Like, that was not possible for anybody. There were people who were on the front line. They still had to go to work. There were people who had kids that needed to still be educated. There were people who had to, maybe stay home, but they had to learn how to use Zoom. I think all of us, I just want to say, for all of us that have gotten through, it was a miracle. There were so many I think things that we all had to learn and we all had to adapt to like that whatever you're feeling, if you're feeling like you didn't get enough done, or maybe you're hearing our story and you're like, well, I wasn't as productive. Like, don't think like that.
Right.
Because our productive is different than someone else's productive.
Right.
And I look at other people who have been like, oh, they did this and they did this and they did this. Well, I was able to just do what I did.
Right.
And we can't compare ourselves. Everybody is different. We can't, like, if you say, I argued so much of my husband or my wife, and
right.
Rita and Marthel are saying they didn't really argue. You all were not there
when we did argue. And here's the thing, and that's a great point that you're making, that there is a context to everything. And the reason why we were able to accomplish so much, or the reason why we weren't able to argue, is because there was times where we had to have the aha moment where we weren't productive. And we said, before we became productive, we had to say first, oh my goodness, I am not productive.
Right.
What are the things that has happened in my life? Why I didn't be productive? Remember those things and then say, how can I now become productive? But in order for us to go through that, we have to first acknowledge that we weren't productive. So we had our moments where we had to say, I wasn't as productive as so-and-so.
And the same thing with arguing.
Right. The same
we
thing
went through
the arguments,
really bad arguments for years.
And the only reason why we didn't argue is because we know how it feels to argue. We know how it left us feeling shameful.
And how I felt it made the kids feel.
With the kids. And,
it just was not worth it to me.
Not worth it. And so what sets the stage for growth is acknowledgement that you need to grow.
Yeah, exactly. And so don't compare yourselves to us. Just, if anything, just say...
Be inspired.
Be inspired. Because if you guys knew... Because there's one thing for us to talk about what we used to do, but it's another if you were living it with us. Mm-hmm. And just like Marthel said, be inspired that it's not too late. It is not too late because, number one, the quarantine's not over.
You have more time.
You have a few more months. But also just to know that it doesn't matter what we're going through. You have the ability to redefine your life. You have the ability to redefine your character. Like, I would say that I've always been a firecracker. Like, anybody that's known me has known, like, let's not cross Rita, you know? And I used to be proud of that for some reason, you know? But I've learned now how to communicate better. I've learned how to communicate better with work, with my husband, everybody in my life. And it was a process that started way before quarantine, but was very useful in a situation that is as stressful as quarantine. Mm-hmm. So even if you felt like this year you did not accomplish certain things that you wanted to accomplish personally, financially, or whatever, if you start from now and you start changing your life from now, you guys, number one, you're setting yourself up for success in the future. But on the flip side, you also don't know what else is coming in the future that you could be setting yourself up for.
That's right.
So whether it's finances, you get your finances together now, the next disaster that comes along, you're doing better than maybe you did last year. Or, you know, you learn how to communicate better with your husband, then, you know, whatever personal challenges come up, you know, oh, well, you know what? We've learned how to communicate. Because like Marthel said, everything that we had learned prior to quarantine helped us in quarantine. It's not like quarantine helped us.
Right.
It really didn't, because that should have been a situation where we were the most stressed out.
Right. The struggles, the trials, the difficult times prior to COVID set us up so that we would be able to be prepared for COVID. What you have been going through during this season of COVID is preparing you for your next season.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and one of the things that I often say to my family is that you cannot reap on the day that you sow. In the same season
that he says that a lot to me because
that you sow.
I'm impatient sometimes, guys. Just the same way that I'd be like, oh, I love change. Well, there's a negative side. I'm impatient. And when I start something, I want to see the results right away. So whether that be weight loss, whether that be a financial venture, I'm like, oh, why is this taking so long?
So just recognize that right now we may be, you know, this is a season where, you know, there's a lot of challenges, and this is a reaping season for a lot of challenges. We may just be, but plant your seeds right now. Plant those seeds and water it with your tears, because in the season of when it's time to reap, you are going to be able to have quite a harvest. And we're looking forward to those great things that are going to happen to you and your family. And we're so glad that, even in challenges, we learn that there is an Onyx life after the struggle life. And we just want to encourage people that, what, there is positivity after negativity.
Right. I think for me, when we say from the struggle life to the Onyx life, that's our like catchphrase. We think that anybody can live the Onyx life. The Onyx life doesn't mean the black life. I know a lot of people be like, well, Onyx means black, and no, but what I mean, when we say the Onyx life, we mean like for us, it is like, how do we define the Onyx life? For me, the way I define the Onyx life is a life where you're living full of purpose, using the gifts and talents that God gave you, and you're doing
and fulfillment.
And exactly, you have deep satisfaction and fulfillment with your life.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that everything went perfect.
Exactly.
We could tell you a long list of things that have not gone well, even in the last year.
Right.
Every year, there's always disappointments.
Deep satisfaction and fulfillment, despite whatever is going around you. Whatever's going around you, even challenges in your own life. And so we want to encourage everybody, think about that. From the struggle life to the Onyx life.
Right. Think of it like a jewel, because that's what an onyx is. Onyx is a jewel, and it comes in many colors, actually. It comes in red, comes in green, black.
And browns.
So, what we're saying is like, think of it more like a jewel, like you're living like a struggle life. Think of the struggle like the dirt. It's hard. But then, you get out of that, you mine that cave, or you mine that dirt, and then you get that jewel out. Like, that's the Onyx life. That's what we are living. That's what we want to just really want to share with you. We're writing our story right now, and
that's right. Onyx Family, from the struggle life to the Onyx life.
All right, guys, that was the podcast for today. We are so glad you joined us. I just want you guys to know that we are here. You can contact us. I'll put all this the stuff in the description and in the show notes, how you can contact us. And we hope to see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.